Hello, I'm going to speak about the part number one and number two in this assignment. The part number one is a description of the five most important educational strategies for teaching English that I learned. For me, the five most important are project-based learning. This strategy involves in projects and require to students use many skills like critical thinking, teamwork, communication, empirical and quantitative analysis, and personal and social responsibility. Role play is a good strategy because it helps learning English through and dramatization and develop communication skills because it stimulates conversation but also reading and listening comprehension in a fun way. Problem-based learning. This strategy engages students in the critical thinking process to examine problems and find answers. Inquiry-based learning. This strategy promotes engagement, curiosity, and experimentation, and students are empowered to explore subjects by asking questions. The number five is communication. This is a good strategy because the students learn by game, and this technique is very important because develop knowledge and skill the easy way. Why is important educational resource for educators? Educational resource helps educators to develop the knowledge and skill that they need to teach. Research teachers produce high student achievement because they work on needs and create an effective program to solve problems in the school or in the classroom. We have benefits for educational resource like provides answer to practical educational challenge using scientific methods. Educational research improve teaching and learning methods by empowering help teachers to develop the knowledge and skills that they require for teaching and help teachers find solutions to particular problems that arise in their classroom or schools.
Number three, a comparison chart with the differences between inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is a logical process where multiple premises that are assumed to be true are combined to obtain a specific conclusion. It moves from specific premises to general conclusions. In this inductive reasoning, conclusion may be incorrect even if the arguments are strong and the premises are true. The approach is bottom-up and it is based on patterns and connections. On the other hand, deductive reasoning is a logical process where conclusions are based in the concordance of multiple premises that are generally assumed to be true. It moves from general premises to specific conclusions. In this reasoning, conclusions can be proven valid if the premises are true. The approach is top-down and it is based on facts, truth, or rules. Now let's give two examples of each type of reasoning, and of course they are going to be related to educational research. One example of inductive reasoning could be, for example, educational research is a subject. Therefore, the test of this subject will be easy. And the second example of inductive reasoning is that I can determine my final grade of this course of the educational research. I can determine my final grade due to the quality of my researches and to everything I did during the course. So one example of deductive reasoning is that teacher Sanville can determine the most efficient ways to improve the students' learning when it comes to educational research. And another example is that using reliable sources for our researchers can help us get better information or even better findings, I guess. Number 4, a summary of the video philosophical worldviews. This video talks about key philosophical functions and worldview regarding research. The video covered the worldview philosophical assumptions of ontological, epistemological, axiological, rhetorical, and also post-positivism, social constructivism, advocacy, participatory, and pragmatism. And also, it talks about the philosophical assumptions, each major assumption from a quantitative and qualitative perspective, and how each assumption impacts research methods. Well, basic ontological is like it poses the question, what's the nature of the reality, the existence, what can be known about it? And in the case of epistemological, philosophical assumption, the question is, what's the truth? What's real? What's the relationship between the researcher and what's being studied? Axiological, the question is, what's the role of values? When it comes to rhetorical, philosophical assumption, the question is, what's the language of the research? When it comes to constructivism, reality, and socially constructive people make sense of the world from their social interaction. When it comes to advocacy, participatory, it focuses on the needs of people who are powerless in the society. And when it comes to pragmatism, it is not committed to any philosophy or a way of thinking about reality. So in conclusion, there are different philosophical assumptions or worldviews regarding the truth, reality, knowledge, values, etc.
We watched a video about a documentary called A Class Divider. And the experiment was conducted by the teacher called James Elliott. It was an experiment about racism and discrimination. And in this experiment, the teacher decided to give their third grade students a lesson in which they have to assume that the blue-eyed people are better than the brown-eyed people, and suppose that this experiment show the difference. And at the second day was the opposite. They learned that the people should not judge other for their skin color or for their eyes color. That's the point about this documentary. And the worldview I consider the teacher used was participatory. Why participatory? Because they learn and they apply what they learn. They learn that the blue-eyed people are not better than the brown-eyed people, green-eyed people, and that's the reason I think that the worldview the teacher uses participatory. And this experiment made a change life for the students and what was thinking about racism and discrimination. And I consider the experimental ethical was right with the students because they were living in the same situation that time. It's not important if you have blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes. It's not important. And they learn that situation about racism and discrimination. And that's the point that I think experimental was right. And yes, I will conduct a similar experiment if it's necessary to make a change in society. That's what I think.
Well, teacher, thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you like it.